So, gehen wir nochmal hin. Ich weiß gerade gar nicht mehr, welche Etage das war. Ich glaube, ganz oben, oder? Ja, genau hier. Ich glaube, das muss Mitzi da mal für uns erledigen. Oder ist die Tür offen? Nein, natürlich nicht. Wäre ja auch gelacht. Mitzi, knack mal bitte das Schloss.
Now that he's gone, we can get inside.
Yes, let's do that.
I'll close my eyes and you pick that lock, Mitzi.
Okay, but no peeking.
I'd never. You've really hurt my feelings now.
Yeah. Now close them.
Ist doch sowieso stockdunkel da. Offenbar. Da, der Job ist erledigt.
Jesus, are these...
Relax, Mrs. A. They're just Halloween masks.
Oh, good. That's good. Because I swear, if I see another bloody head...
Dann werden wir ausrasten. Aber zum Glück sind das hier nur Halloween-Masken. Der eine sieht doch ein bisschen aus wie Schreck. Nehmen wir mal die Schreckmaske. Ich würde darunter schrecklich schwitzen. Es gibt sowas wie zu viel Gummi. Die Hockeymaske. Das ist natürlich jetzt ganz praktisch für unsere Verkleidung, die wir machen wollten. Was haben wir hier noch? Eine Pflanze. Keine davon sind illegal aus. Keine davon sieht illegal aus wahrscheinlich. Er mag wohl einfach Pflanzen. Die hier ist ziemlich groß. Dann haben wir hier noch einen Lautsprecher. Dieser Lautsprecher ist riesig. Und er ist mit Jessys Computer verbunden. Immer wenn er Musik hört, müssen die Wände wackeln. Ich muss mal ganz kurz den Kopfhörer einmal abmachen. Okay. Ich habe gedacht, hier fährt draußen die ganze Zeit ein Auto rum, aber das ist tatsächlich im Spiel. Also gut abgemischt vom Sound her. Also unser Jesse ist ein Zocker. Solche Leute kann ich einfach gar nicht leiden. Jessys PC. Das ist Jessys PC. Ist das die berüchtigte Lärmquelle? Wahrscheinlich. Steckdose haben wir auch noch. Einschalten wir wohl nichts. Klappt nicht. Scheinbar hat jemand den Strom abgestellt. Wer das wohl gewesen sein könnte. Kein Strom. Hier haben wir eine Steckdose. Jessys PC ist hier eingesteckt. Wenn wir Zugang zu einer funktionierenden Steckdose hätten. Ja, haben wir doch, oder? Wir könnten auch ein Verlängerungskabel nehmen. Ups. Raus. So. Steckdose, Verlängerungskabel. Benutzen. Und wo hat's das Kabel jetzt hingeschmissen?
So, who's got windows over this side of the building?
Now this is a dress worthy of the cat widow. I guess we could also check one flat below Joe's. I just hope the cable's long enough.
Let's find out, shall we?
Ja, dann gehen wir mal schnell runter in Joe Davies Wohnung. Ignorieren einfach wieder das falsche Sprachsample. 6 und 5 müsste es sein. Und zwar hier. Ja, warte, Joe Davis war... Moment mal. Mal kurz da drauf gucken. Joe Davis ist doch der hier. Da können wir nicht mehr rein, oder was? Ja, also noch einen weiter runter. Also 3 und 4. Unsere Etage. Hä? Da können wir aber auch nicht hin. Müssen wir dann ins Erdgeschoss und rausgehen? Und gucken, ob wir da irgendwo ans Kabel kommen? Kann ich mir nicht vorstellen. Gucken wir einfach mal. Chip. Nein, es geht nicht. Versteckt sich in diesem Haus. Hoffentlich ist das jetzt kein Bug. Vielleicht die erste Etage mal gucken. Ob wir da noch irgendwo reinkommen? in diese Wohnung. Öffnen. Ach, war das nicht die Horrorwohnung? Ach nein, das ist das mit dem Loch. Okay, der Tisch, das Fenster. Hier haben wir eine Steckdose und da ist der Stecker. Sehr gut. Steck ein. Zapp. Sehr gut. Und schon haben wir Strom. So einfach geht das. Aber interessant, dass der Strom hier bezahlt ist, wo überhaupt keiner mehr da wohnt. Schon seit Ewigkeiten. Das war auf der 4. Etage. Ach, ich kann gar nicht betonen, wie wunderschön ich diesen Flur jedes Mal finde. Schnell in die Wohnung. Öffnen. Dip, 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 dip. Mitzi, halt dich ran. Du musst das hier machen.
Right. I should be able to use that computer now. Could you give me 5 minutes, Mrs. A?
Sure. Why not? I'll keep an eye on the door.
So, eigentlich kann es jetzt nur noch er sein oder dieser Brian.
It's not him either. God damn it.
Dann kann es ja nur noch Brian sein. Oder wir haben irgendwas übersehen. Ach, das ist die. Gehen wir mal in die... Welche Etage war das? Mal kurz gucken. Brian ist auf der 3. Etage, aber wir müssen ja erstmal ins Erdgeschoss nochmal in den Keller. Da war ja noch was mit roter Farbe und der Schere und einer Maske. Ich meine mich da ganz schwach zu erinnern. Und natürlich mit 2 Dönerspießen. Nicht zu vergessen. Vielleicht müssen wir mit den Rohren auch noch was machen. Ich weiß es nicht. So, dann benutzen wir mal kurz die Schere.
We need to make some adjustments.
Yep, das müssen wir. Ist viel zu wenig freizügig.
Now
Ja,
this
schon viel
is a
besser.
dress worthy of the cat widow.
Why don't you admit it was too small for you?
Ha ha bloody ha. Why don't you just shut up? Whoever wore this dress probably hadn't eaten in years. You'd struggle to get a skeleton into it. This is it. We've got all we need.
Great. Are you going to tell me about the cat widow now?
Yes, it's story time, Mitzi. The
Oh ja,
legend
eine
says
Geschichte.
there was once a bad man who hated cats.
Er hasste auch seine Nachbarn und seinen Job. Und wenn es regnete, fluchte er und zerstörte Dinge.
He hated his bald head and his weak, ugly body. He probably hated himself the most, although he would never admit it.
I think I see where this is going.
One day, out of pure hatred for the whole world and everything that lives, he captured a family of cats and drowned them all in the river. That day, the sun turned black and all the birds went silent as the 6 kittens struggled for life. But trapped in a strong canvas bag, they never had a chance. They all died that day. All but one. The mother cat, in a desperate fight to set herself free, by pure luck, clawed her way out of the bag and swam to the shore. She stayed on the bank of the river for a while. The world stopped turning for her, her eyes empty and blind. Her heart crashed into pieces as she watched their limp, dead bodies stolen by the current. Running after them, she followed them for days, for as long as she could. Then, eventually, she lost sight of them. She stayed on the bank of the river for a while. The world stopped turning for her, her eyes empty and blind. And then, one day, she slowly slid down the bank and into the cold, dark water. She gave in to it. She let the river take her away too, cover her mouth, her ears, her eyes. But as the water filled her lungs and she started slipping into darkness, there was another strange feeling that burst in her mind like a ball of flames. Anger, rage even. Her last craving, before she drowned, was for revenge, for blood. And so she returned, reborn and changed, a cat widow, veiled in black, mistress of the cats. Her body of a young woman, but her eyes of a cat, and her face, white, rotten, face of a corpse. Those who saw it rarely lived to tell the tale. She would get her revenge on all cat killers and cat torturers, but there was someone she had to see first, someone special, someone she really hated the most. As the evening came, it was strangely quiet in the man's flat. As he lived alone, he usually liked to fill the silence with the sound of radio or TV shows. But that night, he switched them all off, feeling anxious and tired after work. He tried to sleep, but couldn't. And for once, there wasn't anyone there he could blame for it. As he stared through the window, he kept thinking about how much he hated that view. He liked it once, a long time ago, when his wife was still there and they were happy together. Suddenly, he heard knocking on the door. Some part of him was glad, because that meant he could take it out on whoever decided to bother him. There was nobody there. He almost felt disappointed, but before he turned to walk away, he suddenly noticed something down the hall.
Okay, dann dürfen wir jetzt die Geschichte weiterschreiben. An einer nahegelegenen Wand war der riesige Schatten einer Katze. Er bemerkte den Schatten einer verhüllten Gestalt vor ihm. Der tote Körper einer ausgeweiteten Katze hing auf einer Heizung hinein.
He noticed a shadow of a cloaked figure standing ahead. He stopped again. He couldn't believe his eyes.
Jemand hatte Katzenmörder auf seine Tür geschrieben. Der Schädel einer Katze steckte auf den Sattel seines Fahrrads. Jemand hatte Arschloch an seiner Tür geschrieben. Ich glaube, das mit dem Katzenschädel ist
There was a
passender.
cat's skull stuck on the seat of his bike. He had a passion for trains. Although he hated being a train driver, he had always enjoyed watching them move. But now, his train model was moving all on its own. He was absolutely certain he'd left it switched off. And yet, there it was, running at crazy speed, remote control missing. Something was seriously wrong, and that something had entered his home now too. He hoped he was just imagining things, tired as he was. But there was another surprise waiting for him in his bedroom.
Eine riesige, in Blut getränkte Zombie-Katze saß auf seinem Bett. Cat-Widow ist hier. Die Katzen-Witwe ist hier. Stand überall. Zombie-Katze oder Cat-Widow?
Cat-Widow is here was written all over the wall.
Wie im Traum ging er in die Küche, um etwas zu trinken. Oder er entschied sich, die
Getting
Polizei zu
really
rufen.
scared now, he decided to call the police. His phone was of no use. The SIM card had been removed, and that wasn't even the worst part. There was a photo of a black cat set as screensaver. He remembered this cat. He'd watched that strange pest control man put it in a cage and into his van. He'd looked at it through the window for a while, then pulled the curtains and went to bed.
Wie im Traum ging er in die Küche, um etwas zu
As
trinken.
in a dream, he went to the kitchen to get a drink. There was no water. He knew there were valves in the basement that turned it off, but no one's been down there for years. He felt sick. None of this made any sense. And yet, deep down, he knew what he did to the cats was wrong. There was a part of him that almost wanted to be punished. The part he tried so hard to hide. He thought he'd heard something in the corridor. Was there someone there with him? His head was spinning. He felt ambushed, trapped, like an animal. He had to get out of there. He stopped, paralyzed. He'd heard something right in front of him. A whisper. More like a purr. She was there, in the dark corner of his living room, waiting. Black veil covering that pale, dead face. And yet, he could almost feel Cat-Widow's eyes piercing through him.
Sie kam näher wie ein Gespenst und lüftete schnell den Schleier.
She came closer, like a ghost, and swiftly removed the veil. She came back for him, to take him to the river, to make him pay for what he'd done. As he looked into her eyes, he could feel the world spinning around him, his knees go weak, his pants suddenly wet around his crotch. As much as he hated life, he didn't want to die either. Inside, he was just a big, stinking coward. And then he fainted. Did you see his face? I knew he'd fall for this.
Yeah, we scared the living shit out of him. Now that's teamwork. Are you sure he won't know it was you, though?
Oh, he probably will, once he's had time to think about what happened. But he's too proud to ever admit he's been beaten by a woman. I know him just about enough to know that.
Let's hope so. I don't want you to get in trouble because of me.
No. That was something I had to do for myself. And I feel much better for it.
The only problem now is that we still haven't found Eye of Adam. Because it definitely isn't Brian. The only problem now is that we still haven't found Eye of Adam. Because it definitely isn't Brian.
Let's cross him off the list.